Hey family, let's talk. You've probably been seeing these wild headlines about Nigeria and so-called genocide. It's scary, right? And it's coming from people who have their own agenda. But before we let them divide us, let's break this down together. Point 1. The Boko Haram contradiction. Okay, first hold up. The Trump administration itself claimed that USAID was sponsoring Boko Haram.
Who gets some of that money? Does that name ring a bell to anybody in the room? Because your money, $697 million annually, plus the shipments of cash funds madrasas, ISIS, Al-Qaeda, Boko Haram, ISIS Khorasan, terrorist training camps. That's what it's funding. If you think that the program under Operation Enduring Sentinel entitled Women's Scholarship Endowment, which receives $60 million annually, or the Young Women Lead, which gets about $5 million annually, is going to women who, by the way, if you read the Inspector General's report, is telling you that the Taliban does not allow women to speak in public. Yet somehow you're believing, and American people are supposed to believe, that this money is going for the betterment of the women in Afghanistan. It is not. You are funding terrorism, and it's coming through USAID.
So, let me get this straight. If you're funding the problem, why are you threatening a military solution? Why not just stop funding them? It doesn't add up. This isn't about solving insecurity. It feels like creating a reason for something else. Point 2. The selective genocide outrage. Second, if they're so heartbroken about genocide, why only focus on Nigeria? Why not fight the actual genocide in Gaza, as declared by the UN, or the massacre in Sudan? Why are Nigerian lives more important to them than Palestinian or Sudanese lives? A principle that's selective is just an excuse.
The Commission concluded that Israel has committed genocide against the Palestinian people in Gaza, and that it is continuing with that genocide.
But we are told that the number of children that have had one or both legs and arms amputated is greater than in any other conflict this century. Certainly we know the number of children who have lost one or both parent. The trauma, the psychological trauma for children will last their whole lives. These deaths are not accidents. They are not collateral damage. They are the direct consequence of a military strategy of saturation bombing and scorched earth when it comes to the infrastructure of Gaza and the people of Gaza. Residences, homes, hospitals, universities, schools, museums, churches, mosques, archaeological sites, roads, agricultural facilities, the fishing industry. Our reports over 2 years have built the full picture of the extent of the destruction. And the destruction is such, added in particular to the starvation policies, that the conditions of life in Gaza are unsupportable.
Point 3. Whose lives matter. And this is key. If it's only about Christians, what right does Trump have to invade Nigeria? But if it's about all lives, then the silence on Gaza and Sudan is deafening. You can't claim to care about all lives, and then only threaten a country rich in oil and minerals. Our people, all our people, are being used as pawns. Point 4. The real timing and motive. And let's be real about the timing. Is this really about Christian lives, or is it about Nigeria's minerals? The genocide story has been debunked by human rights groups, so why push it now? An invasion, wrapped in a savior complex, is still an invasion. They want our resources, not our unity. So here's the truth they don't want you to hear. Our unity is our power. The same sun that heats the mosque warms the church. The same criminals that attack one community attack us all. They want us divided, because a divided Nigeria is a weak Nigeria. Let's prove them wrong. Point 5. The historical pattern of exploitation. And don't let anyone tell you this is new. We've seen this exact script before in Libya, Iraq, and Afghanistan. The US and its allies went in under false claims, WMDs, that never existed, fighting terrorism only to stay for decades with their full military might. Think about it. With the most powerful military in history, could they not have ended their fights quickly? So why did they stay for 20 years in Afghanistan and remain in Iraq and Libya for so long? They chose to stay, go easy on the terrorists, and continuously exploit those nations' oil and resources.
As his 2 terms wind down, President Obama is reflecting on the past 8 years in the White House. Speaking with Fox Network anchor Chris Wallace, he was asked what he considers his worst mistake as president.
Probably failing to plan for the day after what I think was the right thing to do in intervening in Libya.
President's referring there to the capture of Libyan leader Muammar Gaddafi, although President Obama says he thinks the intervention went as well as it could have. He views Libya today as a mess.
We also have a history of kind of moving in and out of Pakistan. I mean, let's remember here, the people we are fighting today, we funded 20 years ago. And we did it because we were locked in this struggle with the Soviet Union. They invaded Afghanistan, and we did not want to see them control Central Asia. And we went to work. And it was President Reagan, in partnership with the Congress, led by Democrats, who said, you know what, sounds like a pretty good idea. Let's deal with the ISI and the Pakistani military, and let's go recruit these mujahideen. And let's get some to come from Saudi Arabia and other places, importing their Wahhabi brand of Islam so that we can go beat the Soviet Union. And guess what? They retreated. They lost billions of dollars, and it led to the collapse of the Soviet Union. So there's a very strong argument, which is, wasn't a bad investment to end the Soviet Union, but let's be careful what we sow because we will harvest. So we then left Pakistan. We said, okay, fine. You deal with the stingers that we've left all over your country. You deal with the mines that are along the border. And by the way, we don't want to have anything to do with you. In fact, we're sanctioning you. So we stopped dealing with the Pakistani military and with ISI, and we now are making up for a lot of lost time.
This isn't conspiracy. It's a documented pattern. And now they're trying to run the same playbook on Nigeria. So our message to those who would divide us is this: you will not succeed. Our message to ourselves is this: we see the same sun. We walk the same earth. The terrorist, the kidnapper, the bandit, they do not ask for your creed before they strike. In our grief we are united. In our struggle for peace we are partners. Our strength lies not in foreign intervention, but in our shared humanity. Let us reject false saviors and write our own story, one of unity and genesis for one Nigeria.